Hello, BookTube, and welcome back to Book Trek 2025. Sorry for my slight absence. I had a house guest. I mean, he was here for a week. Wonderful, wonderful time, but it did put a dent in my normal reading habits, my normal writing habits, and my normal booktubing habits. So I've let all of these events go, even though we're winding down on events. Garb August, of course, is only the August, but Summer of Sport and Book Trek last all summer long, but they last until the end of August, which is just a week away. So last night I threw a whole bunch of event books on the pile to read, and one of the thing that I read for Book Trek, once again, was not a Star Trek novel. So I really need to fix that. Instead, one of our away missions for Book Trek is that you can read a work of science. And I do a lot of that reading anyway. And I had one of those on the pile for last night, and I read Lindsay Dowell's book, Cleaning House, which gets pretty scientific. It's all about the toxic chemicals that exist in your home. And I liked it. Kind of, sort of. It cuts a lot of corners. It takes a lot of easy routes. It's way too anecdotal for my taste. As far as I'm concerned, if you're an author of nonfiction and you want to insert yourself and your wacky family and tell all sorts of anecdotes, the degree to which you do that should be in inverse proportion to the seriousness of your subject. And by the time you're done with this book, you will think this is one of the most serious subjects in the world. So that got a little irritating, a little distracting. I think there could be a massively important book written on this exact same subject. I don't know if it has been, because this is not a thing that I would usually read, but if not, there could be a massively important piece of extended journalism without the cutesy poo corner cutting here. But this is a story. Basically, it starts off. The reason that for the cutesy poo stuff is because it starts off with the author's personal obsession as a mom in her own home with the chemicals that are in her home and what they're doing long term and short term. So I guess I understand where that element comes from, but the story broadens from there. She does an okay job with that. I think if you're like me, you're going to finish this book wanting to know more, and not about her family. You're going to want to know more about toxic chemicals that are in our homes. But this got me thinking about a whole bunch of elements of that subject that I had not thought about before. I mean, when I think about toxic chemicals in the home, I'm sure you think about some of the same things I do. Your laundry detergent, your dishwashing stuff, your dishwashing soap, the soap in the bathroom, things like that. Even your cleaning solutions, like for the floor or whatnot. But it's much worse than that. It's much graver than that. These things are far more pervasive than that, down to the level of the dreaded microplastics. I came away. You come away from this. This book actually ends with a whole bunch of calls to action, but I also came away with a whole bunch of decisions of things that I can do, that I can change here at Hyde Cottage. Like, for instance, your long-term food storage containers. Are they metal? Or glass? Or even wood? Probably not, right? If you're like me, they're probably plastic. And that is seeping into the contents. That plastic is not, it looks really solid, but it's not really solid. That is seeping into everything. So your plates, your food containers, your hampers of all kinds, those should not be plastic. And the plastic industry is pretty damn strong. They have a lot of money and power behind them, which is why it's harder. It seems particularly hard to find alternatives to those containers that aren't plastic. Like I thought, one of the thoughts I had when I read this was I have a Brita water filter, a water pitcher. There's a filter on the inside. You pour tap water into that filter and it strains out some things. It doesn't strain out everything, but it strains out some of the stuff that might be in the tap water. And I got it with David Murphy when he was here and we were at a big box store, and I've loved it. But the container itself is plastic. The removable filter is plastic. And so I wonder, am I taking away 6 and giving back 6? But how hard would it be for me to find a renewable filter system water container that's glass? How hard would that be to do? I don't think I ever remember seeing such a thing, much less food containers. larger food containers, could I find a large food hamper? I have one hamper in the kitchen because we have very little food storage space. So I have one large hamper out there, but it's plastic. It's heavy duty, thick plastic. Could I find something like that that was wood? I confess I've never actually really tried, but this book will make you think. And it'll make you think a lot further and a lot wider ambits than just the cleaning solutions that are the first things that come to mind. So I thought it was fascinating. I thought it was a little underrealized. But as a primer for me on the I didn't know much about the subject. As a primer for me on the subject, it worked just fine. So, and it also, I belatedly realized, works as a book trek title. It is science. There's a lot of science in here. That will kind of work as an away mission. It's not a Star Trek novel, I know. So I need to get, now I'm still feeling my way getting back to all these BookTube events, but I'll be better tomorrow. So I'll wrap this up for now, and I'll see you then. Thank you, BookTube.